Hey, what's up, friendly friends? It's Novena, and today I am going to go over my D&D character notebook. It is a composition notebook that I always use, and so I always glue the first, or no, every 2 pages together just to like reinforce to get the stronger pages so there's no bleed through or anything like that. And you'll see that I have like even watercolored on the edges of these papers, and they're totally fine. Also, it's a D&D notebook, so it's supposed to be a character notebook of a pirate character. So if it looks a little waterlogged and messed up, like, that's totally fine. I have not really played D&D. I've been trying to play for several years. I played a couple one-shots here and there by like my library actually put them on, which was a lot of fun with pre-gen characters. I've also sort of started in a campaign a few years back. My friend was DMing and we were doing the Candlekeep Mysteries, but I was pregnant at the time, so we only did 2 sessions, maybe 3. And then when I had my kiddo, obviously my whole life changed, schedule changed, all of those things, so that sort of fell through. I also was going to play in another campaign that was set up. Like I found somebody on the Facebook mom group in our area had put out to do like a mom's D&D group or a parent's D&D group. We met up a couple times at McDonald's. I did like an individual like Zoom call with the DM, had my character sheet, we rolled for stats, all of that was ready to go, and it just never happened. Who knows? You know, these things happen, especially as a parent, as a new parent with a young kiddo. They're not in school, all of the things, totally fine. But I was super bummed about it. Then I had another friend back home who was kind of thinking of setting up a D&D game that would be on Zoom, so I would be able to join it because I don't live there anymore. And that was supposed to start during the summer, and it just didn't happen. So here I am trying yet again. So I've made several characters. I made a character for that Candlekeep Mysteries one. I still have that character, and I could show you that journal, which is like very unfinished. I also started a journal for the second one of the moms group that didn't go through. And yes, I could play either of those characters, but I don't know. I feel like new campaign, new group of people, new, I guess, place where I'm at in my head and my life and my feelings, etc. New character. I have made so many characters, and I've got like a running list on my phone of like other characters that I want to be and make and play and flesh out, all of that. And so this is one that I've had an idea for a long time. Her name is Rata Tenzharo. I'm not going to keep up that accent as much as I would love to, but I will go through and show you what I've got. This is all prep work from somebody who has not really actually played D&D. This is, I mean, you can see I'm here in my messy craft room. I am a crafter. I make little like fun, like I have my book journal here. I, you know, do some scrapbooking, not so much because I'm just a busy mom. But I've scrapbooked in the past. I do creative listing. I do all kinds of fun stuff, and I'm so nervous about D&D. As excited as I am, I'm also very nervous. One, I just have a lot of social anxiety. This is a new group of people. I don't really know all of them that well. And 2, they've all played D&D before, and some of them have played together, and I'm like coming in as this like absolute noob to the group, noob to the game, and it's just making me very, very nervous. And so when I get nervous, when I have that kind of anxiety, something that helps me is to over prepare. It's probably too much. It's probably not something that's actually usable in game, but as a memory keeper, as a crafter and a scrapbooker, I need this. I need it for myself. So this is coming from me, who has like a crafting background. Not to say I'm like an amazing crafter or anything like that, but it's just like a hobby, a long-time hobby of mine. So somebody who's a crafter, somebody who is not a D&D player, not an experienced D&D player, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've looked up a lot of other videos to get some ideas. I've stolen so many ideas. Thank you, other people who have done this before and are way better at it than I am. But I will still go through what I have. I'll show you all my pages, all my layouts. I'll go through like my thought process of why I put things here. And there's a lot that is unfinished because I haven't actually played yet. So I'm sure it'll change. Obviously, I haven't even done the cover yet. But yeah, so please let me know your ideas. We were actually supposed to have our first game today, but one of the kiddos got sick, which happens. It's back to school time. The germs are real. So it has been put off for another month, so I have more time to prep. Yay! What I should be doing is reading the rules and watching like gameplay or whatever of people actually doing D&D, but I'm not doing that. No, I'm doing this. This is what I'm gonna work on, and I'm just gonna fumble all of the dice rolls and actual rules. So yeah, come along with me and we'll go through this. Okay, this is gonna be super long, super chatty. It's not a craft with me, but I'm just gonna talk and walk through the whole thing, and probably need to take a couple breaks just to take a drink of my Frappo, which is of course making me even more hyper. But I also don't like talking this much. I don't generally talk all that much, so I'll probably have to stop and take a couple breaks or a couple breaths, and I'm not gonna edit it. So stick around with me, fast forward, I don't know, stop watching, whatever you want. This is my notebook. So as I've said before, and if you've seen my other videos, I use composition notebooks. So they're 9 3/4 inches tall and 7.5 inches wide. And this is a dot grid. This is my first time using a dot grid composition notebook, which I only found last year during all the back to school sales. And I bought like 5 of them and haven't used them. So I'm finally using one. I'm so excited. And here it is. So this is my character, Rata Tenzharo. She is a tabaxi, and she's a swashbuckling rogue with a sailor pirate background. Oh my gosh. I am so excited, y'all. You have no idea. I would love to be a pirate in my life, in a fantasy type way. I'm not a real actual pirate, but you know, good times. So I will also say my printer sucks. This is like brand new ink, and you can see it's kind of streaky. The details aren't coming out, especially when she's dark, because she's kind of Black Panther fur. So it's a little bit tricky to see, which sucks, but also it is what it is. I'm not buying a new printer. This right here is actually just a magazine cutout that I have had for, honestly, for years. I don't remember where I got it or what it was from, but I just glued it onto some cardstock just to make it a little bit thicker, and then I taped the bottom edge and the sides to make it into a pocket. So it's just holding some scrapbook paper and another picture of Rata as a little pirate captain. So I'll go through the notebook, and I'll also kind of tell you about her background and her backstory as we go along. So here we have just kind of her opening page, just got her main stuff here. Background and stuff. I didn't fill in like the level and experience because I figure I'll do that in pencil and level it up as I go. The other thing I'm thinking is I might just cover this with packaging tape. That way I can dry erase it or wet erase it. Wet erase would be fine probably, but I think that just as much as this is going to move around, doing a dry erase might not be a great idea. It might wipe off, and then I'll be like, wait, what was my experience level? I don't know how relevant that is. I haven't really played before. So I think with this campaign, I don't know if it's going to be like based on experience points and that's when you level, or if he's just going to like tell us, like our DM is going to be like, okay, now you leveled up or something like that. I have no idea. So I'm leaving that open. I also have this space for a key. I have some thoughts on how I'm going to do a key, but I really want to wait until I play a couple of sessions, go through my session notes, and kind of mark out what are the actual key things that I want to have. So I have an idea, but I also think my idea is way overboard, and maybe I'll make a separate video going through it. I have this like idea where I've got all these little stamps that could, you know, represent different things, but that seems like probably a little bit too much, and that's just going to make it overwhelming rather than useful. So, oh, the other thing is, these pages here I got from rnw.net. So this is just like a small business creator. She makes a lot of like super adorable D&D stuff. I so want to play one of her like gator swamp campaigns. I don't know, look it up. They're amazing. But this is an actual printable character journal, so you can type in all your information. You can actually just print it out as is, and it'll be an A5 journal that you could staple together or sew together, but you know, I wanted to be extra apparently and add all this unnecessary stuff. So I did take a lot of those pages, and you'll see they're pretty uniform in their kind of design. So I outlined all those, just watercolored them in red. You'll also see I pre-watercolored this whole book, just the outlines of it. And I just stuck to browns, just kind of like a weathered type of parchment look, and then blues and reds. So her main color is going to be red. And then this stone in her headdress is turquoise. So I didn't really go with turquoise. I went more blue rather than turquoise, but you know, ocean, pirate, it all works out. I like it. Okay. So this is the index. This is blank, obviously. I don't know if I'm going to use this. I might just use a tab system. Just, you know, regular tabs that you stick on and you kind of slide the thing in there. I've used it for other notebooks and that works pretty well for me. Let me grab so this is like my reading journal. So you can see it's just kind of those tabs here. And that works pretty well for me. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to hold off to see like what sections I actually need tabs for. So I don't know if I'm actually going to do an index. So I've kind of left that blank. And if not, I don't know, this could be a collage. It could be anything. If I really don't care, I could just glue those pages together and I'll just have like a thicker page. Totally fine. So here is like the main character sheet. So this is another picture of her. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. I love her. So she is obviously a tabaxi. She's got black fur and it's supposed to have like faint rosettes that kind of shimmer in the moonlight. And her clothes and her dress, her headdress and her hair is more of a Central Asian, so Tibet, Nepal, that kind of area. So she's got like the Tibetan braids and headdress and, you know, inspired by, but still kind of pirate-esque outfit. So I am absolutely loving it so much. Give me a second. I think that's my toddler who's supposed to be napping. Hold on. Okay, so this also has, you know, her details. She's 27, she's 6'3", chaotic neutral. She's kind of, you know, she's a pirate. She's kind of out for herself, but she's not overtly evil and trying to hurt anyone. She's just, you know, she's looking out for her. And then this character details, so it's got a little write-up, but I also put a little quote here: sharp claws, soft paws. So I think on this side, I'm going to do a collage of maybe a couple of other photos. Maybe I'll try to like doodle some. I'm terrible at it, but just a collage of pictures and then maybe some little quotes that really help me get into her character, because I am not a role player. But yeah, I'm excited to play. So more of those pages from R&W. So features and traits, background, language and proficiencies, background, personality, ideals, bonds, and flaws. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be very tricky. I'm pretty nervous about it because like her personality, she's like a charming daredevil. So loves a risky gamble, especially if there's style involved. She's all about her family. We're gonna get to the family pages. One of my favorite spreads in here. Family first. She's fiercely loyal to her siblings. And she's recklessly curious, which I guess could go in the flaws, but whatever. So if there's a locked door, a strange map, or a mysterious magic, she has to know more. So that part I'm okay with. Like, these flaws are going to be really hard for me. So she's overconfident in her charm, and she thinks she can talk her way out of anything and has a hard time saying no to a dare or challenge. That is so not me. I have no charm. I have no riz, as the kids these days are saying, because I'm old AF. But yeah, so yeah, she's a swashbuckler, right? She's a pirate. She's got that swag. She's got all of that, and I do not. So I don't know how to role play that. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun, but definitely a challenge. So that's these pages. So this is her family. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's just gorgeous. So these I printed, like I said, my regular printer sucks, but these I printed on my photo paper so you can see kind of they're glossy. So this is the Tenzharo family. This is my mom. So she is basically the captain of a pirate fleet. She is, I just for your information, I personally am a single mom by choice. And so I thought it would be fun to play a character who's a child of a single mom, you know, who's like confident in that and not, you know, not bothered, just has a fully enriched life and loves her family and everything. So in this D&D world, she doesn't obviously do IUI, IVF, and have a sperm donor. Basically, her mom just decides when she's ready to have a kid, and she goes out and finds someone to have a kid with, and that's hers, and just hers alone. And I love that for her. Love that for all the single moms out there. So mom kind of jokes that like she'll find a king or, you know, royalty. So one of her sayings that she tells us is always remember that you have the blood of kings and pirates in you. So it's kind of like a fun thing, but none of us know who our dads are, and like we don't really care. So she is a half elf, a drow. So even though she's in her 50s, she looks like she's 30s. Mom is killing it. So her ship is named the Vixen. And so all of ours are like some derivative of Vixen. So this is my uncle Sorajin. And so he is a shipwright. He builds our family ships. And so he built, they're twins, by the way, my mom, my uncle Sora. And then, so basically when all of her kids come of age, then we have to meet with our uncle. There's this whole ritual that I have not fully planned out, but about selecting the tree, like specific tree, specific wood that is going to be carved into the keel of our ship. And that's going to be our ship when we're ready to captain it. So my adventuring hook, or my reason for like adventuring and leaving my family fleet, is that my uncle has gone missing. And so I am trying to find him. I feel like that moved. Okay, we're good. So I'm out trying to find him, following rumors or what have you. Like basically it's my time to pick my ship. So my family dropped me off, or maybe I caught a ship to some other port where my uncle was supposed to be. He's not there. So my family's off doing their thing. And now I'm on this like quest to find him and make my ship, you know, all of that. So these are my brothers. So these are my older brothers. They are the Tiefling twins. And then my younger sisters are the Goliath girls. So much fun. And then each of these has like little flip outs of information about them. This is all just for me. None of it's like secrets or anything or role play, but just so I can have little stories, little connections to them. So they all have like nicknames. I could like get into the family more, but I don't think I will. We'll just say Prabhat is my boy. That's my bestie. That's my partner in crime. So me and him, yeah, we're the closest out of all of the kids. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video going into the whole family and background, and maybe I'll make up some more stories for it. So here, this page is going to be, these are going to be my goals, and this is like a role play things. I printed this out, but again, my printer is terrible. So this is supposed to be a mock-up of her flag. And the like little in-game things, like I made this little note that just says, "Gone after uncle, save me a tree." So this is like a note that I'm leaving for my family that just doesn't really make sense to anyone else. But if they ever like come back to that town, or they're looking for me, or they're like, "Hey, shouldn't we have heard from her by now?" Like, then they're going to know like that's what I'm doing. And they're like, okay, she's cool. So this is her goals. So her goal is, you know, to be the captain of a ship. So we've got a cool ship here. Here's Rata dressed up like as the captain. This flag is terrible looking because you can't see any details, but I do have some red fabric, I think, lying around from other projects. So I think what I'm going to do is just like actually mock up a little flag just on fabric. And it'll be rough because I am not like an embroiderer. I tried embroidery. I think I did one thing in it. I've done like one tiny cross stitch. It's not good. But I think that'll be fine. It'll be in character. Rata's not much of a sewer, a seamstress, I guess. So it'll just be like her idea of what her eventual flag will look like when she gets her own ship. This is like my mom's ship, the Vixen. This is the little fleet that she has. So on this side... oh yeah, so this will be her goals, like personal goals, personal quests, like going after uncle. She wants to have the ship, you know, she wants to make a name for herself and have like epic stories that are remembered for generations. So that's kind of that side. This side is going to be Under here, this is going to be like role play plans and like secrets, like things that I may or may not reveal to the rest of the party as the campaign goes on. It's blank. I have no secrets. I haven't come up with any yet. Most of it is going to be, you know, Rata just embellishes a lot. She makes herself sound a lot better in all the stories that she retells than she is. And maybe she's stolen a few stories that actually belong to other people just in an attempt to like make herself seem cooler, I think. As far as deep dark secrets, I don't know any that she has, but you know, some might come to me. So that's just going to be hidden under here, are secrets that I may or may not develop later. And then in this open part, I had put just like quick quotes and quick stories. So like maybe 1 or 2 lines of, you know, we're sitting around a tavern, or we're making camp and we're all swapping stories and drinking or gambling or whatever. And I can just like write out a couple lines of like a story that she might tell in that situation, or little quotes that she has that, again, just help me to role play this character who's very different from who I am in real life. Okay, this page I'm honestly not super happy about. So this is just a scrapbook paper that I use, but just color wise, it doesn't match. I like it because it's fantasy map. It looks old. It's, you know, not of Earth. It's got a lot of water there for the pirate theme, but it just doesn't match the colors. So I may or may not end up switching that out, but they are pockets. So I've got people here, places here. So this is going to be for NPCs, and this is just a little flimsy paper. But I've got a place for like a little picture, a little drawing of them. And each of them just says, you know, name, description, where we met, how we met, and then a couple lines for other things. And then if they're an ally, neutral, or an enemy. So, you know, as we go on and I meet more people, there's more NPCs, I can just add them in there. Places is basically the same thing. Although I don't know why I left space. Like, I'm not going to draw a map. That's kind of silly. So I might redo that. I've got plenty of this notebook. This is just a full notebook that I've ripped the pages out. But here it just has name, what country or where it's near, and then if there's like any shops or inns to stay at, and then like other little details. And again, if it's friendly, neutral, or if this is like a hostile place. And that doesn't have to be like specific to Rata. It could be like our party, like maybe our party came in and like, you know, wrecked shop or whatever, and they're not happy about it. Or it could be something like, you know, I'm not a magic user, but maybe we enter a territory that's like hostile to magic users. Like maybe they have like a bias against that. So those are like the type of things that I would note there. But yeah. And again, it's a pocket. So as we go more places, put some of those in. I really like this page. I didn't plan it originally as a flip out, but it became that. So I've got kind of some of my tools and equipment. So I've got the thieves tools, my weapons, burglar's pack, and the navigator's tool. This is what the printout looked like before I got new ink. And then with the ink, it looks a little better. This one for some reason got cut off. So whatever. But so much fun. I made it a flip out. So this has the rogue leveling table, which I am going to need because I don't know these things on my own. And then this side has the swashbuckler leveling, I guess not a table, but just what happens at the various levels. As you can see, I let my 3-year-old help paint because I try to do these while he's napping, but sometimes he wakes up like that. Totally okay. So you can see on my little Post-its, I had just planned to have this like on the page itself, but I liked this with the scrapbook paper, with the equipment and everything. So I don't actually know what I'm going to put in these ones. Maybe just some pictures, some notes. What I thought would be a lot of fun was to kind of talk about these things in Rata's voice. So like a journal. So, right, like fancy footwork, can land a strike and then slip away without reprisal during your turn. If you make a melee attack against a creature, that creature can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. So like when I get to level 3 and I get fancy footwork, I can maybe write a little blurb about like being in combat with an enemy and they couldn't touch me because I was so fast, you know, which would be like they don't get the opportunity attack. So I think that might be what I want to do, but I don't know yet. So let me know if you've got some ideas of what you might put there. And then we have the combat page. So this is the one where I think I would put a tab here because this is what I'm going to be using. This is again from RNW. So this has your combat stats. I tried to like flick it to make it look like some blood. It's okay. Kind of covered up some of the things. I can read it well enough, but not super happy about that. I might just print it out again. I just didn't feel like doing it. So on this page, I was going to put like pictures in combat or, you know, like fight quotes, either things that like we've said during a fight that might be fun because she's supposed to be like witty and quippy and like throwing out stuff like, how appropriate, you fight like a cow. Oh my gosh, sorry. If you know, you know. I have this quote here that says, she who has sailed the 7 seas doesn't think much of mere rivers, right? Like she's overly confident, which is actually, I think, like a Chinese proverb. So I've got that on the front, and this is in a A5 page protector, so I can kind of write those temporary things in here. On the back, it has the combat action. So this is from that journal as well. So that's going to help me as a new player. And then behind it, I have foes slain, which I absolutely love and is so a thing that Rata would track. I haven't decided on this yet, so I haven't filled it, like made a table, but let me know what you guys think, because here's scenario number 1 is just chronologically every like foe that I come in contact with, if I'm the one to like deal the killing blow, right? Like I'm actually the one who slayed them, I would add them in chronologically. The other thing I could do is just put like type of creature, you know, that we might encounter, like rodents of unusual size or whatever, and then I'll just have like a little tally mark like as I kill more of them. I don't know about that because I don't think I'm going to be killing a whole lot, and I don't know that, you know, just random creatures like that where you're leveling up or something really counts as a foe. So yeah, I don't know. Between those two, what do you think? And it could be something else. It could be like palace guards. Hopefully I'm not killing a bunch of palace guards. Like mostly I'm not out here to kill people. I'm out here to like get away with some shit, you know, because it's fun for me. Because I think I can. And I don't feel like I'm hurting anyone. I'm like, rich people, they've got insurance, right? So maybe it should be defeated, but I already put slain on there. So we'll see. We'll see how I use that. Okay, so these next ones are magic items and potions and scrolls. So I only have one magic item, and these are like the heartwood beads. So this is something that I did use AI to like help me figure out, because I have like this idea in my head, but I'm like, does that work in D&D? Does that work in this context? Is that overpowered? Da, da, da. So basically when they do their ritual and they choose the tree that they build their ship out of, there is a portion of it called the heartwood. And so my uncle is a wizard or some sort of magic user, right? He's a sorcerer. I don't know. He could be whatever. But he can enchant the heartwood, and then he'll carve beads out of the heartwood. And so those beads act as kind of a homing beacon to the ship itself. So, you know, say you get 9 beads out of it, then I get to pick who I give those beads to. So obviously it'll go to my family. That's like 5 of them right there. But it's not, it's more of like a compass, right? So it just, you know, it points north. It doesn't like, I don't know. It doesn't like give you directions there. And so it just says there's like a faint warm pulse. The bead gives off a faint warmth and steady pulse against your skin the closer you are to the source, the warmer and faster it beats. And then if the linked person or place is on a different plane of existence, the bead still points to the correct direction, though the pulse is faint and intermittent. And then if it's lost, if the person or place tied to the bead is destroyed or killed, the stone turns cold and cracks, losing its magic forever. So it's more of like a role-playing magic item than it is like actually to be used in gameplay. Like I'm not going to be like, where's my mom's ship? And then follow the pulse. It's more like a reassurance. So Rata, and she wears it in her hair. So as part of her headdress. And so those are like the heartwood beads, as we call them. And it's just kind of like, oh, I touch it and I hold it and I know that you're safe and I know that everything's okay. That's kind of what that's for. Other than that, not really a magic user. And then we've got the tools, the inventory, equipment, all of those things. And then I just put a sticky note in here for a shopping list that can be ongoing. So I'm wondering if I should put a tab in here, just like to be like, what do I have? What do I not have? I don't think I'm going to be using too many things because I'm not a magic user. So like components and stuff, but this is where I would add my gold. I can add my like loot, I guess. With this, I did glue this in. I thought about putting a pocket, like, because I might get more stuff, but I think I'll just like tape it on top and make it flip up if I get to a point where I have a larger inventory. And just start crossing things off if they've been used. So here we are going to play, actually I wouldn't need a tab because I'm definitely putting a tab here. So, because this would go to Waterdeep. So we are playing the Waterdeep Dragon Heist? Dragon Heist. Yes, that's what we're playing. I think I've looked up a map, but I didn't print it out because my printer sucks. But also, I don't know. I haven't played before. This is like a group of all new people. I only know one person. I've met another person a couple times, and the whole group I've met like once. So I don't know the DM. It's like a friend of a friend's husband. So, yeah. So I don't know if they're a person who's going to give out a lot of the things, props and maps and stuff. But if we do, I'm going to take them. I'm going to claim them. Unless somebody else really also has like a little scrapbooking journal, and then we can figure that out. But I figured this could be the map here, and it could be like those little handout things. Those could go in the regular notes as well as they're relevant, but I thought that would be a fun place to kind of house them. So here we have our sessions. This is kind of sessions at a glance. So session number, date, title, which is, you know, I'll just give it some title that's memorable. And then here, this is just 1 through 12. I would love to be able to like doodle a little thing or, you know, whatever, but I can't actually draw. So I think these will end up being like bullet points of important points of the session. So I can just kind of see it and be like, oh yeah, that's where it is. So going back to, again, I don't know that I need a full index because I'm going to have a tab here. I'll be like, okay, this is where Waterdeep starts. I can just see very easily what session that's going to be. This area is going to be for my party members. So I have my little sticky note mock-up. So up here, it'll be like a group picture of all of us and then like half a page for each party member. And I've got a note that just says I'll add a tip in for more. So I could just tape it in and put more party members because we are going to have 5. Yeah, 5 of us total. So actually, with only 4 party members, maybe I won't do a group picture. Maybe I'll just do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then if I wanted, I could tip in a group picture later. I don't know. You know, TBD. Then we've got our quest log. So this is going to be ongoing. I did pre-stamp these. Again, thinking that I would use like my little key for it. I may or may not. But this is basically, this is just going to let me know a visual of if this is like a main party quest, a side quest, or if it's like a personal quest for Rata. You know, so I could just start in like find uncle, like build my ship or whatever. I guess build your ship is more a goal, less a quest, but you get what I'm saying. I left this open. I don't know how many quests we're going to have. Like if there's like, are there always like a ton of side quests? I feel like that, right? Like, so the dragon heist, I feel like that's wrong because we're not heisting a dragon, right? Like we're going to, whatever, Waterdeep dragon heist. Like the heist is going to be the main quest, but there's got to be little things to lead up. Like maybe we have to find a map to the thing or whatever. Like those are going to be side quests. I don't know how many side quests happen because I haven't really played, but there's probably a dragon guarding it. Whatever, we're probably heisting the dragon's loot. All right, I figured it out, guys. I'm probably still totally wrong. I don't care. So that's a quest log. So I left room for more. And if it ends up just being like a few or main quests within that first like 12 sessions or whatever, this can just be more collage, more pictures, more little quotes and fun things. Then the rest of it is just going to be this, just going to be the session notes. And this is how I think that I'm going to do it. Let me bring that up a little bit. So on this side, it'll be you know, I'll have a little box here for the session number, title, and date. Then I'll have like list out the quests and rewards, the location, like what our to-do list is and what questions I have. I also thought I should leave space for follow-up. So it would just be the questions, and then as I got answers, I could flip back and put follow-up. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, or if I should just carry those questions over, because I did leave this space here for like next steps. So here I've got NPCs, creatures, and then just the running notes. I don't know if I need all those, but that's what my thoughts are on note organization. The other thing is, you know, I've got all these mild liners and whatnot, so I can always highlight them in different colors. It could just be running notes and I could highlight them. The other thoughts I had were using the key, so I could have a margin here, and then I would stamp this circle here, so I could stamp that along the margin, and then that would indicate like what if this is an NPC, or if this is a new quest, or if this is a question I have. So I haven't figured that out because I have not actually played. So I think that as I'm playing, as I'm going, as I'm taking my notes, like I'm definitely going to just take like a random notepad of random notes. Like that's just what it's going to look like. And then when I get back home in between sessions is when I'll organize it into here. So this is not set in stone, which is why I have not created any dividers. Also don't know like location, how much room I need and to do. And then again, if like, it might just be questions that I have during this game and they get answered. And then any lingering questions could come over to like follow up. So then when I set up like the next week's page, I will just write those questions in because they're carrying forward. Yeah, let me know what I might be missing from my notes, what else might be important, and what system you think would work best, like sectioning it out, highlighting, having a key, like what, obviously it's going to be personal for like what works for some people, but there could be some universal things that would help it a little bit more. So that is it. The rest of these are just, I've just pre-painted those pages. Oh yeah, that's the other end of my octopus from the beginning. I haven't decided. I think I'll just glue it in there. I was going to try and make it a pocket, but that's not really going to work. But yeah, that's my character notebook for Rata. Cross your fingers that I actually get to play this game because we were supposed to play today. And it's really fun. I think this is going to happen more so than my last two campaigns that I was like invited to, but didn't actually happen. Because this is a friend that I see pretty much weekly, and then kind of her extended friend group. So I do think this is actually going to happen. Just one of the kiddos got sick. This is a parent group, so there's 3 of us. There's going to be 3 little kids who are around 3 years old. So we're playing Sunday afternoons. The parents can hang out and play D&D. The kids can hang out and play together. It seems like a perfect setup and scenario for us to actually be able to play, because I can't be doing, you know, late nights on Friday as a mom of a young kiddo. But yeah, so please, please, please cross your fingers that it works out. Otherwise, I've just made this fun mock-up of a character journal. And if I don't end up playing, if somebody wants it, you know, let me know. All right. Thank you, everyone. I don't know, like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. That sounds so phony. All right. Bye.